I'm 46 years old, and I left my 9 to 5 after being there for 12 years. And I'm going to share with you what happens next. But I worked two 9 to 5s for 12 years. So it took me 24 years to learn this that I'm learning today after I left my 9 to 5. So I'm going to share this with you in today's video. First, I want to ask you a question. What do you do right now? Are you happy with your 9 to 5? Are you at a dead end 9 to 5? And I discovered dead ends after 24 years of me as a CDL driver. And I had a career job. And I plateaued out to a certain peak. And I'm going to share that with you. You're like, what are you talking about? So I worked my job for 12 years, same position. And I didn't realize that you had a peak that you hit, and you have to get into a new position. If not, your income, you'll steady get that same little pay. You wouldn't be able to get increases and a higher promotion. And so I stuck with that for 12 years. And they said I was at the last after I did it for 12 years. They gave me raises, a little bit promotions here and there. But after I hit a certain peak, the promotions went away. I had to call in on my vacation. They had to schedule me a vacation time if nobody didn't have that vacation time that week. Like if Johnny was off and I wanted to take off Monday and Johnny had Monday all the way the whole week off, I couldn't take off. So if my daughter had a graduation I had to go to or something in that time frame, I couldn't take off. I had to wait. And so I said, I got to get out of this trap. But I'm going to get more into detail. The co-workers at my job, they after the same thing I'm after. They trying to make money and grow. And then you can kind of tell by their personality. You can kind of tell the person who they are. You can kind of tell the coworkers that, oh, I know Johnny, he's one of those coworkers that'll throw you under the bus. And everybody else sees it. Or you got that one coworker that's kissing butt, that's doing beyond expectation in a job with the same pay we're getting. You got that coworker. And then you got the coworker that don't care, that's just here to make a paycheck. And then you got the coworker that's in everybody's business, that tells everybody business, that tattletales. And then you got a coworker that's just here to come and not going to be here long because they are setting up for something else. I was the coworker that was that. I was here just to set up for another job. And it took me 12 years to figure that out. It took me 12 years. 12 years of my life, 12 years of my kids getting old, 12 years of missing out on, school programs, 12 years of missing out on a few birthdays or having to do a birthday the day over because I was working all day, all night. I had to do a birthday. It was several times where I had to wait until the weekend to celebrate a birthday of my daughter's. And I was like fed up. I said, Lord, I know there's an out. What's the out? There is an out. And so I prayed. And so things was getting to where the company was starting to hire, not within. They were starting to hire outside the jobs. They were starting to hire these newbies off the streets instead of hiring within, like when they told me when I first applied. They said, oh, we do hiring within. And they also used the supervisor as a puppet. That supervisor that they used, the puppet, he comes in and he said, yeah, I didn't even have a CDL. I was cleaning the shop floor. I was a low hand. I was just the low end hand. And now look at me. I'm a supervisor. You could do it too. And that's the thing, guys. They use supervisors. They use them as puppets. They use them as motivational speakers, not the real preacher. They only use them as motivational speakers by saying, hey, I could do it, you could do it. I started way under you. And they use this phrase too. I remember we didn't get as much pay as y'all did. Y'all making good pay. I started out at blah, blah, blah an hour. Well, I understand that. We all have to start somewhere, but do not use that to provoke me, or do not use that to think you're going to motivate me to stay. And that's what they did. I was wrong. I had a 12-year basket or 12-year wool over my eyes and then not see it coming. And I noticed that the trends start to shift different. The jobs are starting to decline at the job that I was working, because I noticed that they were hiring kids off the streets. First, they hired new kids that was young with CDLs, okay? Which those kids didn't last long because they knew they could find a better job. They just came in. I had it to where one guy came, I shook his hand, welcome to the company. So what is your goals here? And he said, man, this was my first job as a CDL driver. It was easy job to pick. He said, I'm just passing through. I'm going to work this job until I find something better. He had my same mindset, but I didn't leave. I was fooled. I stayed. He left. And he said, man, as soon as another job come, I'm out. That's better than this. He straight up told me on his first day. You got people like that. And I keep to myself, because as soon as you say something, I noticed that in my employer, that if you say something, it will go to somebody. Either they won't get the whole entire story, or they'll take away a part of the story, or they'll add their little 2 cents into the story. Now you got Johnny's mad at you because you think Johnny, you hate Johnny, and Johnny's work ethic sucks because you heard it through Peter. Because Peter left out some hard-hitting facts, or Peter just told on you to throw you under the bus, or Peter just added some facts to it to where you didn't add to it because of what you told Peter about Johnny. So that's another thing that I got tired of. I got tired of the he say, she say. And that's going on a lot in companies nowadays. And I knew that it was declining. People were cutthroats. They were out to get to the top, because they figured that if they get to the top, they'll be comfortable. They was clearly mistaken. Because when you get to the top, there's more stress you have to work. There's more stress that's on you. The supervisors that made it to the top, they're always stressed out. When we're leaving, going home, and they're still at the job. Yeah. When we're going home, clocking out, I even told my boss, I said, hey, Ryan, you still here? Yeah, I got some paperwork, scratching his head. I got some paperwork to do. I'm like, man, how long you going to be here? He said, man, I'm going to be here for a couple hours. And he started before I did. And I'm like, I can't do it. I can't do it. The money that they pay is not worth it. I was limited. And that's what jobs are. Not all jobs. Some jobs are good. You can go up the career ladder. Don't quote me. Don't judge me on all jobs are limited. Some jobs are not. But a lot of corporate American jobs are limited. You know, you plateau, it's limited. You can't go no higher. That's how I was. I couldn't go no higher. I tried to get in other positions, but every time I applied for a position, either somebody off the street to get it, and they started hiring. This is when I knew it was time. They started hiring people that you were required to have a CDL at our company, right? At that time. Now they hiring youngsters straight out of college that don't have a CDL and getting management positions. And this is what really ticks me off. This is what really, 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 really ticks me off. And I have to pray about it. Where you look at a position, this is what ticks me off, where they have a position open and you try to apply, but the boss son comes in and takes that position straight off the streets. Or, and this is what happened too, they made a position for the boss's son. I'm like, what the heck is a safety specialist? That's not in none of the titles that we tried to apply for. Or what the heck is a consultant manager? What is that? They made up positions and gave it to them. And that's what really turned the tables for me. That's what really told me at the age of 42 to leave. That's what really said, okay, it's time. It's time. And so I had to set myself up. Okay, you got benefits, right? You got 401k, right? You got some jobs profit sharing, right? So I set my own self up benefits outside my job. That was my first step. I said, okay, well, if I'm going to get out of here, I got to have insurance. I got to have health insurance. So I went and did health insurance. And some of y'all don't know where to go in health insurance. Type it in the comment section and I'll send you a link of where I go. So I had to get health insurance because I wanted to become an entrepreneur, a business owner. So you got to have health insurance at that job. That's what they said. But you necessarily don't got, if you got good health, and you heard it before, health is, ooh, there's a bug on my windshield. Ew. Get off. So that's what they said. You got to have insurance. And that's some scare tactics that they use to me. They said, well, when you leave, what you going to do about insurance? You know, because you never know when you get sick. I'm like, well, if you don't speak it into existence, I won't. That's what I'm thinking in my head. So therefore, I had to get health insurance. I had to open up a Roth IRA, which is, the link is in the description also, and it'll help you out. I had to open up and I had to invest. I had to invest in a good nest egg of stocks and ETFs. Okay. I'm putting in 250. Once I get monetized and I start blessing you guys with my monetization check, I'm going to start doubling it. I'm going to double it. I'm going to put in 500. So that way I can hit the $1 million at a certain peak. I've been doing it for 4 years now. And it says, if you put in 500 for 14 years, you'll be a millionaire. Yes. 14 years, you will be a millionaire with the stocks that I have. So, with the ETFs that I'm putting in the stocks. So I end up putting in 250. Once I really get going on my businesses, I'm putting in 500. And if you do 700, it'll be, it'll be actually 8 years, 7 years. So the more you put in, the faster your money will grow and accumulate through interest. And I also open up a high yield savings account. That's also in my description too, in my link. So with all these tools that I'm sharing with you, I did it. That's in my link in my description. But back to what I was saying. So I ended up saying, okay, it's time for me to leave. I prayed and I talked to my wife. My wife said, well, what are you good at? I said, well, I'm good at landscaping. I'm good at that. And so I said, every time my yard is the best yard on the block. I don't play. And so people come by, people that's walking their dog, middle class people, they come and they say, man, your yard is nice. And I'm like, yeah, sure. Thank you. You know, I appreciate it. And I end up wanting to take that into a service base. So I took that into a service-based business, a home service business. And now I went around, knock on doors and start getting cold calling. And first I had to set up me an LLC. I set up me an LLC. I opened up me a business, a bank account, and I got insurance from my business. And then I got me some business cards. And I went right out there. I put on my shoes, put on me a nice polo shirt, and tucked my pants in. Looked like a nice little church boy. And I went around, had a little my business card and my phone and a tablet, and I went around and knocked on doors. And they knew that I was serious when I knocked on those doors. They knew that this guy is serious about landscaping. He's all dressed up nice. He's got his clipboard. He's writing everything I say down that I want. And that's how I was able to make so much money doing landscaping, because I wrote down what their vision was. I wrote down what their problems was that need to be solved. And I was able to solve them, but I actually get paid to provide for my family. And then I end up starting a YouTube journey. And then now I am now monetized, going into the monetization process. And now what I did was I end up starting a YouTube channel, putting affiliate links in my YouTube, and now I'm getting paid off that. I'm doing about $2,000. I'm doing crazy numbers. I'm doing about 2,000, between 1,500 to 2,000 a week off my affiliates, just doing nothing. If I was to quit landscaping and just do YouTube, I would have two sources of income still. I have my YouTube monetization check that'll be coming in each month, and then I make money off affiliate links. Is YouTube real deal? Yes. I'm pinching myself. I'm real. YouTube is the real deal, guys. I'm 46 years old. I have a wife. I have two kids that I adopted that are now ours. And then I have a 22-year-old. I have a 19-year-old. And then, sorry, somebody's calling me. I call them back. I have a 22-year-old, 19-year-old. Then I have a 13-year-old. And then I have a 7-year-old and our two adoptees that we adopted, our two littles that's clearly mine now, that I call them my own. I have those. So I have a big family. The two oldest are out on their own. They're doing their thing. They got a house. They got their own thing going to they doing little trades here and there and stuff. One's going to trade school to become a carpenter, which is good. And then the only ones that are in my household is my 14-year-old, my 7-year-old daughter, and our two littles, which is one is 3 years old and the other one is 2, and they both siblings because we were foster parents. We was fostering them, and then we was able to adopt them. So that's my life. So I have a family. I have a mortgage. My mortgage is over $1,000 a month. I have a mortgage just like you. I have a truck. This is my truck right here, and then this is my wife's car. I'm just like you. But I went ahead and set myself up. When I left my job, I said, I'm going to leave my job to where the only thing I'm going to have left is my mortgage, because mortgage is a big thing to pay off. It takes a lot of money to pay off a mortgage, especially if you're in a $200,000 and $300,000 home. It takes a lot to pay that off. So my point is, I paid off the littlest things that I could pay off with my 401k and profit sharing. I paid off my car, this truck, my wife's car. We paid that off, my truck, and my boat. I had a boat note, and I paid it off. After I paid all that off, I paid my phone bill. This phone bill, I paid it up for 6 months straight. My electric bill down here, I paid that up for 6 months. My gas, 6 months. My water bill, 6 months. I paid all that up to 6 months. And I opened myself a 6-month window to where I said to myself, I created a goal. I said, 6 months, I got to be making enough. And the only bill I had left was my mortgage and my utilities. That's it. We're pretty much debt free. The only debt we have is my mortgage. That's it. And I pay like a good deal. I pay like almost $1,400 in mortgage a month. And I'm able to provide that still. And I've been off my job for 4 years. 4 years, guys. I'm doing the same. I'm getting the same benefits at my job, outside of my job, doing my own business. Same benefits. But the difference is I'm in control. I'm in control of my finances. I'm going to turn off my truck. I'm just running here. It's cold out, so I've been running my truck and doing my vlogs in my truck. But yeah, I am in control of my finances. If I want to go up I see so many houses that can use my service all the time, and I get repeated customers. And so with the repeated customers, I'm financially able to sit out here and talk to you guys. I'm financially able. You know, my family's taken care of. The only thing I got left is my mortgage, which is going to be paid off, and my utility bills. You can't never pay utility bills off. Some of y'all know that. You can't, but you could pay a mortgage off. So I had to live below my means. And then I paid all my big stuff off with my 401k, and I used some of my profit share and pay it off. And I used my 401k, put it in my high yield savings account. I had it going at first, but I put more into my high yield savings account. And then I put it in a Roth IRA and put it in ETAs. And then my profit sharing, I use that to buy my lawn care equipment. That's how I was able to set myself up. That's how I was able to put in my 2 weeks. That's how I was able to change my life. That's how I was able to be financially independent. When I left my job, it was hard. I had a big lump in my throat the day that I was leaving because that's uncomfortable. My old pastor said, if you do something comfortable, Satan has you. You want to always do something uncomfortable because that's activating faith, which is, he's right. He's in heaven now, but activation faith. And I activated that faith. I felt like I was going on a roller coaster ride. I felt like that when you get in that seat, you on your first ride at the roller coaster, they strap you down. You got that butterflies, you got that nervous, you got that adrenaline going, but it's a hyper adrenaline and you're happy and excited. That's how I was when I left my job. Now I had to turn on that mode in my brain, and that's where your mindset comes in. I had to turn on that survival mode in my brain. And I had to say, okay, I got to go and do this. I got to do this. I did not wait or hesitate. I went ahead and got my LLC, got my business license, went to Vistaprint, got my business cards, come back in 2 weeks. I did about 500 business cards. And then that's when my wife, she's coming out. That's when I had to put my feet on the gas. And then ever since then, I never looked back. I even see some of the guys at my job when I'm pumping gas and they pull up in a concrete mixer. They pull up and get gas too. Hey, brother, how you doing? Man, I'm doing good. You look like you're doing good. You lost some weight. That's because I'm more happy. I can go in my house and take my work with me and not even and it's positive. I could go in my house and say, hey, babe, I made $1,000 today. Hey, babe, I just opened up a new landscaping contract that's going to be $15,000. They want a whole backyard installment. I can go in my house and say that to my family and be happy because I know big money is coming. I can go in there and help out people. Now I can go help out more people that's unfortunate. I could go out there and just give 500 to 1,000 to people that are homeless. I could do that now. And I'm going to definitely do it more thanks to you guys on this YouTube platform, watching my videos all the way through, helping me get monetized, clicking the links in my bio, going to my donation page and clicking. When you donate, it's going to go back out there to the people who needs it. So I hope this encouraged you guys, this video. And please like and subscribe and comment in the comment section what you want to hear from me next on what video. God bless.